I'm Patti Phillips, President and CEO of the ROI Institute. And our goal in our organization is to help other organizations build capability in evaluating learning and development programs, along with HR programs and other types of projects and processes, in particular calculating the financial return on investment in those programs. The ROI is a fundamental financial metric used in business, has been for centuries. That and the benefit-cost ratio we've traced back centuries ago, but it's a standard metric used in business, and it's the ultimate measure of success of any type of investment, because there you're actually comparing the monetary benefits of the program with the cost. So you're normalizing the benefits to reflect the investment itself, and you're reporting that success in just a simple financial metric, and it's a metric that the CFO and the financial people and all the executives understand. So when we use that same terminology and that same metric, they quickly see what that return is, rather than when we talk in intangibles. It's hard to make a comparison. If you invest $750,000, but you've improved employee engagement, what is the real value there? Now, inherently we know, but by converting a measure like engagement or productivity or quality to money, you can actually do the math and show in that very simple metric, here's what we got for the investment. Now, we don't want to use it for every program, don't have to use it for every process, and anytime we report ROI, we always report it in the context of other measures, because it is just looking at that financial indicator, that financial output. But it's an important part of the measurement mix, because we want to show or demonstrate the benefits of our programs in the same terms as we show the benefits of other investments within the organization, and that's what we're trying to help others do. The benefits of there being more analytical is first, on that front end side, analysis is all the way through the process. So I think beginning with the front end assessment in terms of analytics is identifying what an organization really needs based on their business needs, not just jumping in and throwing a solution at a perceived problem, but really drilling down to see what the problem is, and then identifying the right solution for that problem or the opportunity, and then positioning that solution through the development of specific measurable objectives that actually reflect the needs of the organization, and then from an evaluation standpoint, just evaluate to see if they've achieved those objectives. In doing so, you not only show value for the investment and account for the resources, but you're also gathering data to understand how you can improve the program. A lot of people think measurement and evaluation and ROI is strictly an accountability process, but that's not it. It is accountability. We need it, so we do account for our resources, because you can't do good unless you do well, so we only have limited resources. But probably the most important factor of evaluation is the performance and process improvement element, gathering data that are useful in making decisions in terms of not only investing in the program in the future or eliminating a program, but improving that program. A lot of people tag different activities as being certified. We look at certification as certification is a demonstration of a person's competence with the ROI methodology, not just what they know, that's ability. We're looking at competence. So when we talk about certification, participants who go through our process actually apply the process to a project and then take steps to further integrate the process into their learning and development processes and programs. So the importance of certification is, one, building that knowledge base and the tools, but just as important, even more important, is actually applying that process to projects and processes demonstrating their competence. Why someone would want to be certified? I guess it goes for any other certification. Why do you want certification? It's a demonstration of knowledge for one thing, but in our case, demonstration of competence and proficiency in a process that is going to drive value to the organization. What we are finding is that many organizations are identifying our ROI certification as a certification that they want their staff to have. We have had a number of organizations contact us and say, who do you have or who do you know that's certified in your process that could be a candidate for this position? And while we certainly don't want to get into the practice of helping others recruit new staff, it is an interesting question that is being asked of us. So it tells us that there's more emphasis being placed on certification in our particular methodology, which is good for us, but it's also putting pressure on us to raise that standard and hold that standard high if organizations are actually using that as a tool or a reference of competence. We already have pretty high standards in terms of completing the certification because you do have to follow our standards. Every project needs to go to ROI. Every project must isolate the effects of the program, which is a critical step in our process. So we do have pretty high standards, but these days we are being asked by organizations to help them identify candidates who have the certification. The certification begins with a 5-day workshop, and it's just a 5-day learning program, and through that program we actually teach everyone the 10 steps of the process, the 5 levels of evaluation. So they're learning the process and why we have the standards and what the standards are really doing for us. But throughout the week, we actually look at case studies that have been published. Jack and I have just actually, here at ASTD, we're celebrating our 40th book with ASTD. Many of those are case study books that we use in the certification to help others learn from those who've already applied the process. So through the week, people will actually, or participants will look at those case studies, critique the case studies, learn from others, learn from what they did well, and learn from some of the problems or opportunities that they face throughout the process. There's not a perfect case study out there, but what we're showing is that people are at least attempting to go through it. So they analyze case studies from others, but they also bring a program or a project into the certification, and throughout the week we're actually planning their study. So by Friday they have a draft of their actual ROI study plan. Once they leave, we connect them with one of our coaches through the ROI Institute who actually works with them to complete that study. They don't actually do the work for them, but they're there to help answer questions. The study is then submitted for our review, and if it meets our criteria, then they become certified. And then those people, we give opportunities to publish their case studies, and then we're adding to the certification a deeper assessment, and then we're actually building some new programs to take those individuals to a higher level of analytics. We have actually just partnered with Jack Fitzsimmons and his work in predictive analytics. We're building programs in partnership with him on those higher level of analytics. We're developing some statistic programs to help the learning and development community just build some capability. We don't necessarily suggest that learning and development professionals need to be statisticians. They do not. But we do think it's important that they at least know the questions that need to be asked of the statistician who may be crunching the numbers for them. So we're starting to build programs to those higher levels of statistics and analysis because we have so many people who've already been certified. It's time to take them to the next level. The ROI methodology generates 6 types of data. So we evaluate all programs using the process. The question is whether or not we evaluate a program all the way up to the business impact and ROI levels. And while you can, so the question isn't can you, it's whether or not you should. Just like your learning and development resources, you have to manage your evaluation resources wisely. So typically, people are evaluating programs that are very expensive, very strategic in nature. They're driving the organization objectives. Those are the programs that we suggest are evaluated to ROI. Again, you can evaluate anything. The question is, should you really? So we always tell people, if you think in terms of the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule, 20% of the programs are really driving 80% of the business results. Those are the 20% that you should really consider evaluating up to ROI, or at least the business impact level. Maybe 5 to 10% of the programs to ROI. So again, it's about managing those evaluation resources.